Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 178. This one is pretty much reviewing the 178th anime for Boruto. Naruto. This was our father's example. This episode is a bit of a flashback episode. It does explain something that the manga didn't explain at all. This episode is mostly a heavy focus on Shikamaru. Yeah, it is. Though we get brief cameos by a bunch of other characters in the series. Oh, yes. Yeah, first starts off with Shikadai arriving home possibly from a mission. I think he just woke up. And apparently he forgot completely about the Memorial Day. About people who died in the Fourth Ninja War. So, they had the ceremony. And the ceremony is overseen by Tsunade. Not a bad choice. And of course, on the stage are pretty much most of the Hidden League 12. Minus Sasuke. He's not there for some reason. I mean, on the stage, you see Naruto. I think Ino's up. I don't think Ino's up there, but I would say a good enough people are up there. And of course, in the crowd, Hinata is there with her daughter. I get the reason why she's there with her daughter, because she want to buy her by herself. Fine, whatever. But at least most of Hidden League 12 are here. Of course, Sasuke's not here. And of course, Tsunade basically talked about people who died during the last Great War. And then we see Shikamaru, where he basically is thinking about the strategy that happened way back in Shippuden, toward the end of the series, before the Allied headquarters was destroyed by the Tail Beast attack with a Tail Beast bomb. In case you forget, Obito was one who did that. And yet, Obito got forgiven because he was being manipulated by Mandara during that whole thing. And he was wondering, what was the strategy worth it? Did he think it actually worked? And then we see Ao making his first appearance in this anime, though he already made an appearance in the manga. That this takes place before. Now, he does not encounter Teen Konohamaru in this episode. I mean, Boruto, Sadara, and Mitsuki are seen in the episode. Konohamaru is not seen in the episode, surprisingly. I wouldn't be surprised if he was at this funeral. But yeah, even have the current Inochoki is Shikadai formation. Yeah, they're there. Mogi is there. Udon is not, surprisingly. I didn't see him. But we do see a lot of the other current generation of characters. They're here. Boruto was in the episode, and he doesn't speak. Yes, a non-speaking part for Boruto, which, that is shocking. I mean, the episode does feature him, but he's reduced to a cameo. Yes, the main character of this series is reduced to a freaking cameo. I get the fact in the focus, but at least give him a line. Nope. Not even Naruto, the main character of the franchise. His appearance is reduced to a 2-second cameo. So, we have Moguro. We have basically going to Scientific Ninja Lab. Tools Lab to basically get a little maintenance on his processing limb. He looks for Kisuke. Kisuke's not there. Presumably he's at the memorial service. And then just by sheer coincidence, Moguro basically is there to get a report, but he runs to Ao. He does not know who it is particularly, but he does want to take him to the ceremony because it was going on that day. And Ao, despite the fact he missed most of the ceremony, he has no problem being here at all because he fought alongside the people who actually died during the last Great War. So, he basically was there when the Tail Beast was attacked the headquarters. They actually filmed this episode. How in the world he survived? Yes, they actually revealed that because in the manga, he's alive? I thought he died. Yeah, a lot of people already thought he died. All of a sudden, oh yeah, here he is alive and well with a thing on his face, a prosthetic hand, and a prosthetic leg. Something they didn't show in the manga very much. So they revealed that he was found by the medical corps at this site, and he was taken to the Hidden Leaf Hospital, which I would have thought, that's weird. He's from the Hidden Mist Village. Wouldn't he be taken back to Hidden Mist? Nope. Stays in Hidden Leaf. Apparently, he got no visits from the Mazakage. Which I'm like, really? And they say he was in coma for years. Like, how long? Don't know. They don't really particularly say. Though when he wakes up, apparently there's Keatsuke, and of course he offers him, Korchov how he gets show off these particular limbs, which is the ones you currently have. And he goes through like special training, basically to use the arm and leg, go through rehab. He thinks not going to complete, but he's able to actually move around perfectly fine. He's gotten used to it, and which I like the fact they actually bothered to explain it because the manga didn't bother to do it. So, and then just by sheer coincidence, he just happens to run into Shikamaru. Yeah, Shikamaru basically recognizes him, despite the fact, here's the thing about these two. If you watch Shippuden, these two have shared zero screen time together. But I'm sure they probably have shared, sometimes they probably have interacted before off screen. Heck, even Ino basically is surprised to see him. And it's like, when it was like, oh, hey, you're Ao. And he's like, Ao, the right-hand man of the 5th Mazakage Mei? He's like, yep, that's me. I'm like, that is so cool, the fact he knows that particularly. He couldn't recognize him, probably because of that big thing on his face. Probably. And of course, Shikamaru asks basically a question he's basically been wondering a minor plot point during the episode. Like, does he remember exactly what happened just prior to the attack? And he says yes. They actually show something they didn't show in the original series. Like, they do show, like, the part of the conversation that Shikaku had with Shikamaru and Ino. They show part of that, and then they show, like Inochi basically taking off his helmet he was wearing. Though, this is some new footage. Like, maybe this was basically, because this is from Ao's perspective. So, he walks up to him, basically talks to him about his, like, tragedy and hip, and then just right after that, that's when the tail beast attack happened. I'm like, I at least got to praise the fact that actually showed that, because to me that seems like basically like missing something was missing from the actual series. So it's kind of seems that when you watch this episode, like, what, did this episode just resolve a minor plot point from Naruto Shippuden? Seems like it. You know, as I know about this particular scene is because I watched Shippuden. That's all I know about it. But if you didn't watch Shippuden, you probably like, okay, they probably mentioned about the war. If you didn't watch the original Naruto anime, you'd probably be confused by this. But they explain it well enough, and they explain the war a little bit here. They don't really explain they mention about Mandara. Yeah, they don't mention about the fact that he was being manipulated too. Yes, the kind of reveal that was running the series, like Obito, like, oh, he's the main villain. Nope, he's been manipulated by Mandara. And like, Mandara is the main villain. Nope, not Mandara. It's actually Kagura. Yeah, no mention of her in this episode. Probably because nobody saw her because they were all under a genjutsu. You know, the people who saw her were basically Team 7 and Obito. They were the only people who actually saw her. Yeah. But it'd be interesting, though, if they actually show her in a flashback in the series. That would be something. Especially because there's a flashback for her in the actual manga. But I gotta say, actually, a really good episode, and oh boy, I'm looking forward to next week. Why? Because we actually have the first appearances of almost all the members of Kara. We saw a brief glimpse of them several episodes back, but this time we actually see him moving and talking. Like, wow, we're finally getting some canon stuff. And it's that is the name of the next week's episode. That's going to be interesting to say the least. But this definitely was an episode that was necessary for this particular series, because after all, they mentioned the Fourth Ninja War, so why not people actually have a whole episode focused on just basically the Memorial Day episode, which that's perfectly fine. And having stuff like this is perfectly fine. Though I highlight that this is probably something that probably Japan probably does to honor people who died in the previous Great War. They probably do this in Japan like once every year. So maybe this is the writers basically like saying, okay, let's just do that for this series, but for the 14th Ninja War. Which I don't think anybody who are veterans of previous wars, I don't think they would have a problem with this episode. Not necessarily. I mean, they don't poke fun at it. It's basically the tone of this episode is very serious. There's no comedy in this episode. It's just straightforward, and of course the pacing is well done in this episode. And it's interesting though that, oh yeah, and also Tamari's in the episode, but she gets like 2 lines. No joke, she gets like 2 lines. It seems as though the only characters who get a lot of lines this episode is Shikamaru, Ao, Ino, and Mogato. Yeah, just these 4 characters. They're the only ones who get a lot of dialogue. The only one aside from these 4 is probably Sanade, which her being there overseeing the ceremony makes total sense. Why? Because she was the Hokage during the Fourth Ninja War. So, makes perfect sense. Heck, there's even during a flashback you even see the previous Razakage. Which, kudos for the anime actually including some stock footage. Though surprisingly, I gotta point this out though, the anime has it sort of as black and white. Which, no, the previous series was in color. Now, not the first series I've seen that has done this, where they actually basically go flashback to the previous series. They did this also in Super, believe it or not. But those flashbacks were done in color. This is in black and white for some reason. Maybe because it's just a flashback, I don't know, but the whole thing did not really need to be in black and white. Probably just to, and this is my personal theory, the reason why I think that they had the flashback in black and white instead of like being in color, like there was in Super, probably because to justify it's a flashback. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But at least it's a flashback, so it makes perfect sense. But not much else to say about this episode. Really good episode. Definitely looking forward to next week because it's going to be exciting. Because next week's episode is going to set up the vessel. It's going to be the start of the vessel arc of the series. So the episode ends surprisingly with Ao going to this tree in like the middle of like this lake and him catching a leaf. Like, okay. Doesn't really set up anything, but it's a nice way to end the episode on him. Despite the fact that he was like a supporting character in this episode, but he was another character that was zero focus this episode aside from Shikamaru. Though they do show him also basically just laying against the very same area that Naruto and a lot of other characters basically go to near this riverbank, and then Shikadai was looking for him because his mother was looking for because Asuna was looking for him because he was missing. Probably for dinner, possibly, because at that time, probably be dinner at that point. Yeah. But, not much this episode. Good. Okay, so that's it for Single. It's possibly going to be it for video today because I don't have any more anime to talk about today. Nope, this is the last one. Am I going to get to watching Monster Doc today? Probably not. I'm still working on the light novel. I still got like less than 100 pages left. I think I've got like, I think it's like 80 pages left of the book. I probably finish the book either tonight or tomorrow. So probably should start the anime pretty soon because basically what I'm going to do is watch the anime episodes that are adapted from the book itself. So basically the first episode for that review series will come either tomorrow or probably Tuesday at this rate. But I'm only going to discuss in the first episodes and then back to the light novel. I'll discuss the reason why when I get to it, okay? Do the next video. Bye.